So Dan, in terms of numbers, you had a real good season again.
Yep.
How many coyotes did you catch?
670, I believe.
And so you started in October, and then you were way north,
Yep.
and then you took a break, and then you went south.
Yeah. Well, I went back up to North Dakota. And about halfway, not way up there, but I did that last year too, and trapped up there for about a month. Didn't have as many traps set. I caught some up there, and then got back here, and I put those ones I caught on my second trip up there. I put those up, scraped them and stretched them and dried them, and then I went to Texas a little bit early because I wanted to get going.
Yeah, you were you had that break of 4 or 5 weeks, and you couldn't wait to just get back out there.
Yeah, I went up 10 days earlier than I usually do.
I think your wife told you better go because you just were like a cat waiting to go.
Yeah, I was ready to. That's the best time of the year. You shouldn't be not catching anything.
Yeah.
But we're going to scrape a couple of these with the Wiebe scraping knife.
And Dan hasn't used one of these before, so hopefully it goes well. I know he's going to like it, but we aren't going to pretend like this is his go-to knife. He's just doing this out of the goodness of his heart here, and they're very sharp.
Well, yeah.
Last year you caught 666, and I kept telling Dan it'd be kind of nice to catch that number 2 years in a row.
Well, you know what? I never kept I didn't catch very many coyotes in the last place I went because I didn't set any traps for coyotes.
You were going after cats.
Yeah.
That's what that's what gets him excited, is cats.
Yeah.
But some of these guys pay them to trap coyotes. They don't pay them to trap cats.
No, a couple guys pay me down there, but next year, if I can't sell them, it's gonna have to be. They're gonna have to. More of them are gonna have to pay me, or I won't be able to go.
Now, right now you're pushing, and that's all you're gonna do is push on this coyote.
I don't cut her. Yeah, I gotta be careful with this. I learned how to do this by watching a guy that knew what he was doing.
Who's that?
Rodney Huff. He worked at Beatles. So when you start these, you get the wad of fat off the belly first. Push that off. Then you start this. This is see this membrane here. You start this. Get that started off. I do the whole belly first.
And so the red stuff, the meaty stuff, is what you're trying to get off?
Getting it right down to this is right down to the skin.
And so that would be good if it was all like that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So, oops. Boy, it's sharp.
And on these Wiebe Elites, and what Dan did is the inside, the pushing side, comes real sharp, and so you take a steel to that and just dull it to where you like it. The cutting side, the outside of the arc, you want that sharp.
Yep,
and so
you want that sharp.
like on coon or around the neck, or beaver around the tail, you can slice if you want to. He's gonna dull that a little bit more. This is a brand new knife. In Australia, we call this a fleshy knife. We do sell Wiebes in Australia.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we got one dealer, two dealers over there.
Oh. Yeah, this side doesn't need to be sharp at all.
This is, for the life of me, I don't know why he's got two Ford trucks here. And they're clean. That don't surprise me. These are these all your Texas coyotes here, Dan?
These are all Texas, yeah.
Okay. Really pretty nice coyotes, and he doesn't go south in Texas. He stays higher elevations. And he skins them and then freezes the hides. He wouldn't have enough room to not skin anything.
Yeah, I got a toy hauler camper and I got 3 freezers back there, so.
And he's even got a fireplace in his camper.
Yep. But it doesn't burn wood.
He's a small town boy, you might say, but he knows how to trap and live well.
Okay, now that belly's done. Split the tail. I don't split those tails. They dry out if you in the freezer.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
split them till now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You even get a little drying, getting them to dry out a little bit sometimes. This one isn't, but just being in the freezer. But there's a little bit right here. But some of them,
You roll them up in the freezer, right?
well, I kind of laid them flat this year. I kind of in half, and then I put weight on them. I got more coyotes. I could get about 70 of them in a freezer, and you can get a few more in that way by putting a piece of plywood and some weight on it when you put them in there.
When you first start doing the scraping, like the next day, can you feel it in your arms?
No, not for coyotes. Coyotes aren't hard to scrape. They're, if you were really going at it in the fur shed, they're like 100, 200 a day, like some of them guys do, then you would know.
Wicked sharp every time you pick it up. Wiebe knives feature a replaceable blade design sporting a surgical grade scalpel edge for a long-lasting and consistent use. And every Wiebe knife comes with up to 24 replacement blades. After all, it's a Wiebe. Order your replacement blades today with a $5 flat rate shipping on any sized order at wiebeknives.com.
You gotta get this. This is, they kind of call this a saddle. It's skin and there's a little fat under it. Gotta get that off. If not, when you dry these, that'll get just stiffer than a board.
Yeah, some of my first coyotes were that way. I mean, you go from fox to coyotes, it's a huge difference. And
Well, yeah, you don't have to scrape fox usually.
I think, can it rot under there too if you don't get that off?
Well, yeah, good. But once you get this started, it kind of peels right off.
I always heard that term, saddle on mink.
Yeah, they got the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's a piece of skin. It's not really fat. This isn't really fat either.
Oh, and I always struggle, like you're putting your weight up against the top there's, but it always moves on me. Does it? Do you find that it kind of jerks?
Put it right here.
Okay. And it's not the hide isn't slipping away on you.
No.
And Dan, he sold a batch of his coyotes early on, and I don't know, I think you're a little lucky on selling stuff just from being around you some.
Lucky I got them sold.
Yeah, he was like $90 or something, and now they're worth half of that.
I wasn't really. I told the guy, I'm not in a big hurry. I didn't think I needed to be in a big hurry to sell them, but he said he wanted them, so.
They were all heavies.
Yeah, way up north.
And this coyote skinning here, and I'll have them point this out, but this would be a semi-heavy, correct?
Yep.
Western semi-heavy.
Yep. They're pretty good up in the panhandle of Texas. For instance, that one place, I think I kept 90 of them there the year before. Those coyotes would average $65. They're pretty good coyotes. Their color is really good on them. They're pale.
And the surprising thing, I've been with Dan twice in Texas, and they have just a beautiful coon down there.
Yeah, they're black. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They're semi-heavies, but they are just
Yeah.
beautiful. Silky.
Really dark.
Yeah. You ever hire your or outsource your fur put up, Dan? Or do you always done it
I used to
yourself?
have guys scrape my coons, and then I put them up here, but as I can't scrape coons very well. Young ones aren't too bad. Well, that's about all you got to get off of these. So now, put them on board. These will get turned early in the morning.
So it's about 5 p.m.
Yeah.
and
Coyotes you can leave on for 10 hours probably. If you can turn them sooner than that too.
and what's the ideal temp when you say 10 hours?
Well, it's about 65 in here. Depends on. I'm not gonna have the fan on. Fan makes them dry faster. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say the name, but I know a fur buyer. He doesn't turn them anymore. He just puts them on fur out. I'm not sure how he does it.
They got in trouble doing that.
Were they? What was happening? Not drying.
Well, they run in hot heat, and you get too hot with the fan blowing, and you'll burn them, and they won't tan very good. So if they're not turning them, they're using wires probably. be the stretch it like that. I do use these after I turn. I'll turn those and put those wires up in them and hang them up just to let the air get up in them. A lot of them will borax them really heavy. Put the wires in with the first side out, and not a lot of guys do that because you can kind of get in trouble.
Is that borax you're using there?
Yeah.
And what does borax do?
Well, it's actually it's laundry detergent is what it is, but it helps dry.
I've heard it stops bacteria cold.
I don't know. It could.
You're not a biologist, are you? Me neither.
But it makes them smell better, I know that. Well, there's one.
You start looking at coyotes, and now the price is down. That's a lot of fur for the money. In terms of selling them, if you buy a coyote for craft work or whatever, you're getting a lot of fur. Especially
Well, they claim the big heavies, you get 5 strips out of them. So 5 collars. So if they paid $100, that's only $20 of that coat. A little bit more than that if you're tanning and stuff like that.
Wiebe knives, voted one of Field & Stream's best hunting products. Every Wiebe knife comes with up to 24 wicked sharp replacement blades. After all, it's a Wiebe. Order your Wiebe knife today with up to 24 free replacement blades at wiebeknives.com.